Hey, and welcome to Star Wars 101. In this video, I'm going to be doing a quick breakdown of the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 5. So basically, I'm just going to be going through the story of the episode while mentioning some of my own thoughts and some small details you might have missed. And with all that said, let's dive in. So in the beginning of Episode 5, The Return of the Mandalorian, we see Din enter what looks to be a Clutonian meat factory. He eventually makes his way through the building till he gets to one of the back rooms. We then find out that there is a bounty on the head Clutonian, and that the Mandalorian has come to take him in. He tells him that he can either bring him in warm or cold. After the Clutonian refuses, a fight breaks out and we see that Din still has the Darksaber, although it is very obvious that he is a little awkward using it. Now, I think it's really cool that the Mandalorian was able to keep possession of the Darksaber and he didn't just gift it back to Bo-Katan like what had already happened in the Rebels with Sabine Wren. Mainly because he did win it in combat, which makes it rightfully his, and it just looks really cool as his go-to weapon. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, going back to the story, he ends up defeating the group, and even cuts their leader in half with the Darksaber, and shortly after removes his head to take with him as proof that the job is complete. Now this scene is a little darker than what we usually get, but I think it really expands on the true nature of bounty hunting in Star Wars. The Mandalorian then makes his way through the city, till he comes to what looks to be a cantina. Once inside, he gives the head to his employers, but does not seek credits in exchange. Instead, all he wants is information, which leads us to a lower section of the city where he finds the armorer, and Paz Vizsla, who heals his wounds from the previous battle. He then shows the armorer the Darksaber, giving her a little background information on how he won it. As Paz Vizsla takes the Darksaber and starts to bring it to her, we see that he seems to be a little bit jealous of Din, probably because he is a descendant of those who carried the Darksaber in the past, and thinks it is his by right. Upon receiving the weapon, she tells him that it is made of a higher grade of Beskar, and that the one who wins it in combat rules all of Mandalore. She then gives him a short history lesson on Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi who constructed and wielded the Darksaber over 1,000 years before. She also tells him that if a leader has not won it in combat, then a curse shall be bestowed upon all of Mandalore, which is most likely what happened when Bo-Katan took the Darksaber unjustly, leading to the Purge and the destruction of the planet. The armorer then learns that he has reunited Grogu with his own kind, and allows him to join their group. We also find out that Moff Gideon isn't dead, but has been sent to the New Republic for trial. The armorer tells Din of the Mandalorian who rides the Mythosaur, and who will rise to lead the Mandalorians. Now in the Star Wars Christmas special, Boba Fett rode a Mythosaur, which he hints at when he tells the Rancor Keeper that he has rode much bigger creatures. Also, he has a symbol of a Mythosaur on his shoulder plate. So make sure to tell me in the comments if you think Boba Fett will rise to lead Mandalore. When Din shows the armorer the Beskar spear, she isn't impressed with it and says it is more of a threat to a Mandalorian than a good weapon for one, because of its ability to pierce Beskar, which leads me to think it might have been created to kill Mandalorians. She says that Beskar is meant for armor, not weaponry, and so the Mandalorian asks her to form it into something for Grogu. Now when the Mandalorian asks if she knew who Bo-Katan was, the armorer says that she came from a mighty house that lost its way and ended in tragedy, referring to the Night of 1,000 Tears, when Mandalore was destroyed. She then tells him that if their sect had not been cloistered on the moon of Concordia, they would not have survived the Purge. Next, we see chainlinks falling, and after the armorer has finished with Grogu's armor, she hands the Mandalorian a sack, tied like Grogu's ears. Din and the armorer end up training together, and we see that Din is struggling with the weight of the Darksaber. To this, she tells him that he is fighting the blade. Eventually, Paz Vizsla challenges Din for the Darksaber. He uses a vibroblade and a shield to fight the Mandalorian. After a brief fight, the Mandalorian defeats him. She then asks if they have ever removed their helmets, and it is revealed to her that Din has. She tells him that he is no longer a Mandalorian and that the only way he can redeem himself is to travel to the living waters under the mines of Mandalore. The Mandalorian accepts his fate and takes a shuttle to Tatooine. When he arrives, he visits Peli Motto. He ends up saving her from a creature, and then we find out that he is here because she messaged him about a new ship. Also, we get to see a BD droid, which is famous for being Cal Kestis' droid, BD-1, in Jedi Fallen Order. So, I wonder if that could potentially be a hint at him showing up in one of these new series. Peli eventually brings him to look at the ship, which is an unfinished Naboo starfighter. At first he doesn't want it, but after some convincing and a suggestion to modify it to make it faster, she changes his mind. So they start to fix it, and after help from Jawas, which now we know are furry, and the BD droid, they successfully rebuild it. During these next few scenes, we also learn that the people and law enforcement of Tatooine have been afraid of the Pikes ever since they came to the planet. A little while later, the Mandalorian takes his new ship out for a spin. Now, in my opinion, this is probably one of the most coolest scenes of the episode. And we even get to see the place where Anakin raced the pod race when he was a little kid. Next, he decides to take it to space. But after flying by a shuttle too fast, he runs into some trouble with two New Republic officers. One of which is the actor for Luke Skywalker from the second season of The Mandalorian, and the other, the pilot that flew with Dave Filoni in the episode where the Mandalorian was transporting the Frog Lady. The Mandalorian is asked a few questions, eventually things get too heated, and he uses his sublight thrusters to burst away. The Mandalorian then returns, and Peli asks how it was. He replies, saying, "Wizard," which is kind of a fun callback to what Kitster said to Anakin before the pod race. Later he meets with Fennec Shand, who tells him that Boba needs his help for a job, and throws him a bag of credits. However, he throws them back, saying for Boba, it's on the house, but first he needs to go visit a little friend. So that's it for this breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below telling me what you think of this episode. For me, I really liked it, and I look forward to seeing more of the Mandalorian and Grogu in the next episode. And with all that said, have a great day.